This week, President Cyril Ramaphosa filed an urgent application to interdict his predecessor, Jacob Zuma, from forging ahead with his private prosecution bid. On the eve of the ANC's National Elective Conference, Zuma instituted a private prosecution against Ramaphosa. He's accused the president of being an accessory after the fact. The charges relate to the crimes Zuma's further accused state advocate Billy Downer and journalist Karen Mornov in separate private prosecution proceedings currently underway in Pietermaritzburg. He accuses Downer of leaking confidential medical information to Morn and Ramaphosa of not acting on a complaint instituted against the prosecutor. After Zuma instituted the private prosecution against Ramaphosa, the president wrote to him multiple times asking him to withdraw it or threatening court action. But Zuma's refused, even after the NPA issued a statement confirming the nolle prosequi certificates he relies on don't apply to the president. A nolle prosequi certificate confirming the NPA's decision not to pursue a matter is a prerequisite for a private prosecution, and without a valid one, Zuma's case against Ramaphosa doesn't get off the ground. Regardless, he's insisted he's pressing ahead, leaving Ramaphosa with no option but to turn to the courts. The president this week filed an urgent application in the Joburg High Court to interdict Zuma from pursuing the private prosecution in any way. This pending an application to set aside the private prosecution as unlawful. He's also asking the court to excuse him from the proceedings set down for the 19th of January. Ramaphosa argues the private prosecution is unlawful, unconstitutional, and invalid. His case centers largely on the nolle prosequi certificates. Zuma has provided two, the first referred only to Downer. The second, meanwhile, refers to any person connected to the Downer matter. Ramaphosa says neither relates to a charge against him and that the second is unlawful insofar as it may be interpreted to relate to him. Zuma has also served Ramaphosa with two summonses. And the president also argues this is unlawful and an abuse of the process, with both summonses calling for him to appear in the same court on the same day on the same charges. Further, he says there's no evidence that proof of a security deposit, another prerequisite, was served before the registrar when the summons was issued, and that Zuma instituted the private prosecution with an ulterior motive, in a bid to prevent Ramaphosa from running for ANC president or to force him to step aside. In support of the urgent basis on which he's brought the interdict application, Ramaphosa says that while these proceedings are playing out, his rights to dignity, freedom, and a fair trial, among others, hang in the balance. He also says it adversely affects public interest, impacting on the country's reputation and, in turn, on confidence in South Africa's leadership and on the rand. He also says Zuma's blatant disregard for the law significantly harms confidence therein. He maintains the interests of the Republic and its people must be urgently protected from Zuma's abuse, and that it can't be permitted to continue for even one more day. When it comes to costs, meanwhile, Ramaphosa is asking for a punitive costs order against Zuma, or alternatively, his lawyers. This for persisting with the private prosecution, despite having multiple opportunities to withdraw it, and for making disparaging comments about the NPA in the process. All the while, Ramaphosa says, Zuma's been represented by able lawyers. Bernadette Wicks, Eyewitness News.